Yeah, in this section I am going to talk about some inbuilt directives. So let's create a new folder for it. So we have done till controllers right now. So we'll copy that folder to 5 inbuilt directives. Uh, let's come back. This is the folder for inbuilt directives, and let's open the index.html, which is there in the fifth folder, fifth chapters folder, which is directives, and we have our Angular application back. Now I'll talk about what are directives. So all the new attributes, right? New HTML constructs which has been introduced by Angular by this file angular.min.js. So they are called directives. So this is ng-app is a directive, ng-controller is a directive. So similarly, we'll learn about more inbuilt directives which comes from Angular, and much later during the course we'll also learn how to create our own directives. So I'll repeat any new HTML construct which is not a part of HTML, so that is and which comes from angular.angular.js file, that is called a directive. HTML, for example, that comes from HTML, right? Head, title, source. So these HTML constructs, these HTML keywords, so they are coming from the HTML definition. And these new ones like ng-app, ng-controller, which comes from Angular, they are called directives. And all the directives have different functionalities. So we'll in this section we'll learn about a few more. So next I'll talk about ng repeat. Now suppose if we generally we have a list of books in a shopping cart application, right? So that the user can choose between the books and buy it, right? So in order to display a list uh, or an array, so we need a for loop, right? And there is no way you can do looping in HTML, and Angular comes to rescue, and Angular has a feature around that. So during the whole course, you will notice that all Angular tries to do is to make HTML more intelligent than it normally is. So there is a no feature for looping inside Angular, so it will give you directives so that you can achieve that. So the whole purpose of Angular is to make your HTML more interactive, more intelligent using directives. So let me introduce the first directive, or third. Basically we have already used two. The third inbuilt directive, that is ng repeat, which is used to loop over arrays. For that we need an array in our controller. So instead of books, let's have an array. So here I am trying to create an array. I'll copy this, paste it again, paste it again, paste it again. So let's have 4 books for now. uh, let's have the second book as the monk who sold his Ferrari, and the author is Robin Sharma. Let's have the price as 21 and the rating as 2. Let's have one more book. Let's Harry Potter. Let's have the third book as Harry Potter. Author is J.K. Rowling. Let's have the price as $12 and the rating as 5. And let's have the fourth book as let's have the fourth book as I'm trying to recall a book. Some techie stuff, some business stuff. So I'll have the fourth book as the lean startup, and the author is Eric Rise. Let's have the price as $10 and the rating as 1. Not that I don't like the book, just for example, I have given it a rating 1. So now our let's have the variable as books now. So our books variable on dollar scope books key, or basically books model have is an array of book objects, right? So inside app.js, it's a book object. Inside index.html, I want to show all the books. So there is a directive called ng repeat. It's an attribute directive. So directives can even be element directives, which are HTML elements, and here it is used as an attribute. That's why it's an attribute directive, and takes a value for book in books. So books is something which is on dollar scope, which is a model, and which is an array, and this is a loop variable. So basically this will be repeated every time for each of the book, and every time that book is stored in this book variable. So this is the loop variable. So let me show you the output. Yeah, I need to open the index.html of inbuilt directives, which is apparently open, and I still see one book. Because I have accidentally changed the four controllers. Uh, Pardon me for that. I'll just copy it out. Yeah. So I have to put ng repeat here. Ng repeat equal to book in books, and so this div will get repeated for each book which is inside this books array. So if I refresh it, yeah, so inside app.js, okay, I've done all the editing there. Inside controllers, let me undo all the change. uh, Books equal to, yeah, looks fine now. Yeah, so all is well now. So now inside chapter 5 inbuilt directives, after doing the required changes, I can see the list of the books here, right? So it looks like a nice mobile app now, and it is a shopping app. So now we just learned how to loop our arrays. I will repeat. Inside app.js, so books is the model which is on dollar scope, and it's an array of objects. And here inside ng repeat, uh, this is the array, and this is the loop variable. It's almost like a for loop, and this is the element, uh, each element inside that loop. Next I'm going to talk about ng show and ng hide. Let me close this for now. Yeah, so suppose uh, I'll first demonstrate it here. So ng show is an attribute which if the value is true, it it shows you the element inside it, otherwise hides it. For example, if I write ng show equal to true and dummy text, if I refresh this HTML, I see dummy text here, right? And if it is false, so it is not shown here. So basically, whenever it is false, a style is added to this element with property display none. So it is there in the DOM, but it is hidden. So if I show you, if I do right click inspect, if I do right click inspect, I hope things are visible here. Yeah. So yeah, div ng show equal to false. So it has added a class called ng hide on it because of ng show, and here ng hide is display none. Clear? So that text is not shown. So here we also can have properties like 2 equal to 3, which is false, so it is not shown. So if I write 2 equal to 2, so I can see dummy text. So it is basically an expression, and if it evaluates to true, this div is shown, and if this expression evaluates to false, this div is not shown. So using this knowledge, we can for example, if you do not want to show books which are rated very low, for example our fourth book, so we can add that logic, ng show equal to book dot rating. The book is the loop variable. Is if it is less than 2, do not show it. So if I refresh, sorry, it is I have mentioned it, ng show equal to book dot rating less than 2. So if it is less than 2, it is shown and not otherwise. So only the fourth book satisfies this condition. So if I have something like show only if it is greater than 2, so I am able to see only 2 books. So only these 2 books have rating greater than 2. If I mention book dot rating greater than 1, so I see 3 books. These 3 have rating greater than 1. I hope you understood what ng show is. Similar to ng show, there is a directive called ng hide, which is just opposite of ng show. So it hides all the books when this condition is true. So when this condition is true, so it adds a style of display none, and if it is false, it doesn't do that. So it is opposite of ng show. So it hides the books which have rating greater than 1. So I can see only one book here. So only this book doesn't have a rating greater than 1, right? Similar to ng show and ng hide, there is a directive called ngif. So if I refresh it, so it is similar to ng show. The only difference is the elements which do not satisfy this condition, so they are removed from the DOM. So if I inspect it, I won't be able to find it. So earlier a style was added, a class was added, ng hide class was added, but now it is just removed from the DOM. So I see the first div, the second, the third, and there is no fourth. So only 3 divs are there, 3 book elements are there. I hope it's clear. Similar to ng if, ng show, ng hide, there is a directive called ng class. Ng class equal to, so it takes an object in this form. For example, high true, low false. So it takes an object in this format, and here it will add all the keys which has values true on this div as classes. So if I refresh it, and if I inspect, if I see the HTML output, so here a class high is added on all the divs. High is here, high is here, right? I hope you can see high on each of the divs, because only high key has value as true and low is false. So similar to that, true and false, we can add expressions. For example, high if book dot rating greater than 3 in case of 4 and 5, and low if book dot rating less than or equal to 3. If I refresh it, so on the first div high class is added. I hope you can see it here, high. In the second class low is added, in the third class high is added, and in the fourth class low is added, right? So we can use this to uh, style our page. Let's go back and create a style.css file to put our style rules, css rules. Let me create a new file, save it as style.css, dot high, right, background color, let's have as light, uh, high as light, say light pink, and dot low, background color as light green, let's have light green. So if I refresh it, yeah, so the red ones are high, the pink ones are high, and the green ones are low rated books. Is the color fine? And we can try some other colors also. Is a light yellow, yeah, looks better. So the high ones are red and the low ones are uh, yellow, light yellow. Let's also give this a class. Let me have this in new lines. Class equal to book, and in style.css let me add a class book for some padding. Let's say have 5 pixels padding, because the text is touching the borders. Yeah, looks a little better. And maybe a border of 1 pixels solid pink, yeah, and a margin also for 5 pixels, so that the boxes are separate. Yeah, looks good. Let's come back to index.html, and yeah, looks fine. I somehow do not like the pink color. uh, Pardon me, I'm going to change it with something else. light salmon. Yeah, yeah, looks good. Cool. uh, Sorry I spent some time on styling, but I hope the concept of ng class is clear. So book class is already there on this tab, and this is added. Either low or high is added because of ng class. So when high is added, so dot high, so and because of that, when high is added because of this high css rule, css class, this background color is added. So this is light salmon and this is light yellow. And when low is added, this light yellow colored box is added. I hope ng class is clear now. uh, Let me add a little more margin, the little more vertical margin. Horizontal margin is fine. I'll add say 10 pixels. Let's add 15. Yeah, even better. So I have 4 books. Looks good. Next directive which I'm going to talk about is ng click. So let's go to our index.html file. Now I want to give the users a feature to add this to increase these ratings or decrease these ratings, right? So let me add a few links here. A let's not have href. So there is a ng click, or let's have buttons, button ng click equal to rate up, and pass the book object, the loop variable, and let's have rate up as link. So if I refresh it, so I see a button rate up here, right? So what ng click does, so when you press this button, so this is something like on click in JavaScript and jQuery, not in jQuery, in JavaScript there is on click. So it is something similar to that. So it will call this function on which is it will try to find this function which is on $scope object, and it will pass the book object in it and it will run it. So inside app.js it will look for the corresponding method $scope dot rate up equal to function takes a book and it increases the rating, book dot rating plus plus, right? So let's see what happens. So if I rate this book up, so the rating is increasing. So I hope you notice. So if when I press rate up, so it is increasing. And how does that happen? So inside index.html there is a button and there is a function ng click function called rate up with the book object. So this function is called, and the definition of this function has to be there on $scope object, which is inside app.js $scope.rateup equal to function which takes a book and increases its rating. And whenever we make a change in the data inside the controller, so basically whenever model is changed, the corresponding view also reflects that change. So this is one way of two-way data binding. So two-way data binding is something which we will talk about in next section. So this was about ng click. Using ng click, let's add one more button here to rate down things. So let's come to index.html. Write down book, write down. Let's go to app.js, and we'll need a method called write down, and it does book.rating minus minus. Right, so I've mentioned a function call on ng-click write down with the book, and will decrement the book's rating. So if I refresh it, so there are two buttons now. So it decreases the book rating, and this increases it. So if you notice, as soon as it touches 4, or it goes beyond 3, the color of the background color of the box also changes. That is happening because of ng class. So everything in Angular is dynamic, so it is continuously checked, so everything is live kind of thing. So as soon as book.rating becomes less than 3, so this is for all, whenever there is something which changes, everything is applied again. You can think like that. So everything is live in Angular. Now there is a problem. We can rate it beyond 5 or up to infinity, and we can also rate it even less than 0 and go to negative numbers. So we can apply a check. So increase book.rating only if it can be increased. So if book.rating is less than 5, only then it should be you should let it increment. Similarly, if book.rating is greater than 1, only then you should let it decrement. So let's see the output. So I can rate only till 5, I can go only till 1. So the rating can vary only between 1 and 5, right? And one last step, instead of rate up and rate down, we can give it nice looking icons like up array. So these are HTML codes for some icons which are available inside HTML. These are basically Unicode characters. So we can rate it up only till 5 and go down only till 1. So we can go only till 5 to 1. I hope things are clear. Let's to understand everything properly, let's also have a add to cart functionality on this app. So let's create one more button for that. Button ng-click equal to add to cart book. So since this is a shopping cart website, so it will have something have a feature of addition to cart. So let's have add to cart button. If I refresh it, I don't see it because of this missing missing inverted comma. So now I can see add to cart button, right? So why not try to find a nice icon for that. Let's cart HTML code, HTML sky code. I'm not sure if there's one or not. Let me try to find one. doubt there is something like that. HTML character codes for cart. Yeah, here is a long list. Let me see if there is a cart. No, there is nothing for a cart. No, not a problem. I'll download a image for a cart. Let's go to iconfinder.com. Cart free PNG. Let's have the smallest. Copy it. Go to our folder. Paste it. Let's rename it to cart.png. Let's come back to our application. Yeah. So instead of add to cart, let's have img source equal to cart.png. Let's see how things look like. So here it is. This is happening because of the size. Let's go to style.css and add a style for image. Height, let's have it as 16 pixels. Let's see how it looks like. No, it doesn't seem to be applied. Looks fine. Height, width 20 pixels. Let's have it like this for now. Let's not be that panicky for styles. Yeah, coming back. The height and width were 1111, so we'll add that. Width 11 pixels, height 11 pixels. Yeah, doesn't look that great, but it's fine for now. So we need to implement the function add to cart. Let's go to our app.js file and let's add a function $scope.add to cart equal to function takes a book, and its job is to add this book to a cart. So first of all, we need a cart. We need to display a cart. So let's have a cart. So it will be an object of type something like an object which will have items, an array, and a total price. Let's have it as 0, right? Now we have the cart, and let's display it. So let's display it here. Inside a div, let's just print the cart object. So yeah, so here is our cart. If I press this button, nothing happens because we have not yet implemented the functionality. Let's come back here, and whatever the book comes, we will create a item object out of it and push it inside cart.items. So dollar scope, or let's create an item object first. Item equal to it will have a name which will be same as book.title. It will have a price which will be same as book.price, and it will have a quantity. So let's have it as 1 for now, and let's push it inside the items dot push. So push is an array method which pushes or adds an element inside an array. So I push the item inside this scope.cart.items. Let me refresh it. If I press this button, so my book goes inside this cart, right? So here's the new item object. So it has a name, the alchemist, the price, and the quantity. So if I press it again, so a new entry is added. So ideally only quantity should have increased, right? But here in completely new entry is made. So let's do something for that. So first of all, we'll try to find the item in cart. For example, where item equal to find in cart book. So find the book in the cart, or find it, just give the title and try to find it in the cart. If you find it, so if item is there, if you find it, then item will be not null, something will be there inside this item variable. Then just increase the quantity, else do all this which we were doing. I hope it makes sense to you. So I'll repeat. I'm first trying to find the item in the cart, which if it is already there. So if I'm able to find it, then item will evaluate to true because it will not be undefined. So I just increase the quantity, otherwise I create a new item and push it into the cart. Now I need to implement this function find in cart. So let's implement it. Function find in cart takes a title and tries to find it inside this cart cart.items array. So let's create a for loop for where I equal to 0, I less than dollar scope dot cart dot items dot length I plus plus. So for loop where item equal to dollar scope dot cart dot items I. So I just save the item variable inside a variable, and then I check it if item dot name is same as title, then we have found it, return item, right? So it will return from this function as soon as it finds it, otherwise it will not return anything and the return value will be undefined. right? Looks fine. So let's check the code. So if I add, so the book is added. If I add again, so now the quantity is increased, not not that a new completely new entry is made in the cart. So if I add this item, so I have a new object, new item object. I press again, then only the quantity is increased. So nothing is happening to the total price. Let's write the code for that also. So in both the cases, whether item is found in the cart or not, the total price will be uh, increased by the same amount. So $scope dot cart dot total price plus equal to, so same amount, book dot price. Let's check again. Let's add to the cart. So 20 total price is 23. I do again. So total price is added to 46. Let's add this. So it has become 67. 23 into 2 plus 21, which is 67. So our cart has been implemented. As a last step, let's improve the look and feel of the cart. Let's come back to our HTML file. So instead of just printing it, let's print it inside a nice table. Tr td, this is the item, and again one td for price, and again one td for quantity. Similarly, one tr for repeating over the items, ng repeat equal to item in cart dot item. So it, since cart object is on $scope, so we can directly reference it, cart dot items. And again let's have 3 tds. Item dot name, item dot price, item dot quantity. Again let's have a tr for total price, it's cart dot total price, right? And also let's have this duty call span 2, because we have only 2 columns in the last row. So let's see. So item price quantity total price is 0. Now total price is 23. So yeah, things looks like working fine. Let's add some styling to this cart. Let's just have td some style. Padding is fine. Background color light blue. Let's see how it looks. Let me choose some other color. Now let's have light gray and some padding. Padding say 3 pixels. Yeah. So this is our cart, and hence our cart is implemented. So I'll show you the code again. So when I click here, so there is a button and it has an image ng click equal to add to cart book. So when I press here, so this add to cart function is called with this book object, and inside app.js, this is the add to cart function. So it first tries to find in cart. So there is a private function here, find in cart. So it is on not on dollar scope, so it's not visible inside index.html or the corresponding view. So it is only for only to be used from scope functions. So where item equal to find in cart, so it finds in cart. So either it returns the item or it returns undefined, which means it doesn't return anything. So if it returns an item, the quantity is increased. Otherwise, a new item is created with quantity 1, right? And price is same as book.price, name same as book.title, and it is posted into scope.cart.items. And in both the cases, if or else, so the total price is updated by price of the book. And here is the output. If I press it twice, only quantity increases, the total price is updated accordingly. So I hope ng-click is clear, right? And controllers, the concept of controllers and the models, how we update the model, and the same the change in the model is reflected on the view. Next we will talk about two-way data binding. So I'll wrap this section, I'll wrap this chapter for now.